The following is a special presentation of iRacing on LSRTV, your home for sim racing.
Live here from the Dover International Speedway in Dover, Delaware. This is the American Pool Supply Truck Series here on LSRTV tonight as we get set for another round of racing here from the Monster Mile. I'm Cisco Scaramuzzo. Alongside me is going to be Gary Weaver. Truck's already on track, so we're in a little bit of the hurry up, but let's run you through your LSRTV starting grid as we get set here tonight. Actually, postpone that for now. Truck pace car already down off pit road, so it looks like the 54 of Kenny Lowry going to take the inside. Green flag in the air already. Pole sitter off and away. And to his outside is going to be Seth the Merchant. So working against the clock here a little bit less. Only one keyboard for me tonight, not two. So it's taking things a little bit longer, but nonetheless, cars already thundering through 1 and 2. And down to the inside, Lowry still alongside Seth the Merchant as they head towards turn number 3. Side by side for the lead, side by side for second as they head through 3. We get rolling here on LSRTV, welcoming in my broadcast colleague Gary Weaver tonight. And Gary, everybody getting single file here for the moment, but Dover International Speedway, another one of these fantastic short ovals. Didn't get the opportunity to run at VIR yet, but that'll be on the schedule here later this evening. But Dover International Speedway on the docket, as right now Lowry continues to lead as we head back to turn number 1.
Now, VIR is going to be a pretty interesting track to run these trucks. I've never seen that before, but of course, we had to get through Dover first, and everyone got quickly single file for the most part. I'm looking back through the field, now about for 12th place. It seems from like just a little bit of a pass between the 5 and the 34. Okay, Paulson up to 12th place. Novosad in the 34 just decided to let him go early on, and I don't blame him for that, as we only have 150 laps here today, but we're only 4 laps in at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. This is it's going to be a long race here this evening as I'm working to get the ticker up. But right now, close battle for that second position. Seth the Merchant has it. The 09 of William Kemp wants it. Right behind him, also Reese Bam trying to make things happen. But Kemp going to look to the inside. Not quite able to stick the nose in there, but trying to make it work as they come off turn number 2. He's fighting for that position right now.
Not so much for settling down. Of course, I'm pretty sure Kemp knows that he's just that little bit faster. Almost ironically, he's pretty much on the back bumper right now with Seth the Merchant, but almost ironically, last time around, not this time around, they had nearly identical lap times. This time around, the lap times are literally identical. We have to look at the 10/1000ths of a second, if that's ever going to be possible to see what that time difference was.
Yeah, absolutely. This is these guys neck and neck as they head through turns 3 and 4. And Kemp's still on the inside and not quite able to get past Seth the Merchant. We'll have to see if he can solve the perplexion of what to do with Seth here. But as it sits right now, still getting into the early stages here from Dover. And right now, a great battle for that second spot. Meanwhile, behind him, it looks like one car peeking out. It's the 42 of Ryan Howard down to the inside under Brandon Wilkinson. Wilkinson up in the middle of the racetrack. A little bit of contact there from Ryan Howard, and Howard going to just clear Wilkinson, the 56. Right below him, no Powers. That was Travis Powers in the 55. Tried to make it happen. Not able to do so, though, as they come off turn number 2.
Travis Powell almost had that position. Unfortunately, he couldn't quite get there in time, but right now, he just got hit to the back bumper just entering turn number 3 there. But unfortunately, not really enough momentum to gain anything on Wilkinson at the moment. So Wilkinson looking to the inside of turn number 1. Couldn't get to the inside of Howard there. But I'm pretty sure that Wilkinson wants to get that 5th place position back.
Yeah, and Wilkinson definitely biding his time at the moment, not going directly after him, but you saw him diving into the corner. I think that truck's still going to have a little bit of speed. Meanwhile, that close battle for second, still on just a little bit. Kempf is still there on Demerchant, making sure he doesn't miss a beat. So that 09 going to try and make things happen on that truck. Meanwhile, Kyle Lowry, rather, down to the inside. A little bit of contact on the 17, and that was the number 5, it looks like, of Derek Paulson. That truck going to drive away. The Pentair machine going to drive away, and that's for the 17 of Lowry. He gets moved out of the way, the Fitzgerald entry, so he's going to drop all the way back here to about the 14th position. So Lowry not out of the gate here fairly easily, and kind of drifts behind as Novosad and the 3 of John McNacko is able to get by as well. So loses about 3 positions there in one corner, and behind this, back in about 16th or so, it's a huge mess of trucks with Christian Peterson going by Sean Cross here alongside John Lyday, Matthew Murphy, plenty of other trucks in this whole gaggle here as they come off turn number 4.
Thought the 87 Murphy was going to get turned there for a second by Kyle Mingo.
Oh, there he goes,
there goes 83.
John Cross going to get turned up into the outside retaining wall, and with that, we'll have our first caution there on the night right in front of us there on LSRTV, and we'll take a second look at that one, but that was, they're all fighting here as a huge mess of trucks as they headed through turns 1 and 2, and just like that, the 83 going to get put in the outside retaining wall, and see come off turn number 4, you see the 23 of Christian Peterson had just gotten by Cross, you see the 22 just go down the inside, just make slight contact. John Lyday, the driver of that machine, and just like that, Sean Cross into the outside retaining wall is not a good way to start it out for Sean Cross here at Dover.
Well, speaking of somebody getting turned, there's that commentator's curse. At least it wasn't for at least it wasn't for that person that I was talking about. So that's a first.
Yeah, it was the truck right behind him. So we didn't curse the guy we were talking about, luckily, but hopefully. Hopefully it'll be one of the few cautions here tonight. Of course, we've seen plenty of cautions here at Dover in the past. This is definitely one of the tougher racetracks when it comes to the NASCAR circuit, and going to be interested to see how these guys are going to be able to handle the monster and make things happen. So one thing to note tonight, of course, Gary, as per usual in the truck series, only 2 sets of tires in the pits tonight. So for those of you following along at home, that'll be you can only jack up the truck 4 times. So because of course we can't measure how many tires they use, but with that it kind of forces you into the strategy of where not a lot of these guys going to come down early and get that first pit stop out of the way because they want to conserve those tires for later, Gary.
Yeah, Cisco, I wouldn't be surprised since I'm not surprised that no one has come into pit road, and when I say that, I see Lugo Vickery in pit road, although he is just repairing his damage, nothing more. I see that Sean Cross is also in pit road, no doubt also repairing his truck. I believe he's back out on the track right now. Well, now he's just exiting his pit stall, so no surprise there. Not sure what happened to Vickery, so I'm going to see what happened to him. I'm not sure. Maybe he made a little bit of contact with Sean Cross. That may have been what caused that caution there.
Yeah, and now you can see Cross coming off pit road. Also Tyler Lugo Vickery also off pit road. So both those guys going to rejoin the field here. You see a little bit of left rear damage on Vickery's car, and Sean Cross, of course, dealing with it after he backed it in the fence. So he'll have to get some repairs done. But pace car lights are off this time, and 54 of Kenny Lowry, the Seth the Merchant machine. The 57 will run you through your top 10. Kenny Lowry, Seth the Merchant, William Kempf, Reese Bayham, Brandon Wilkinson right now in 5th. Then you got in 6th, the Ryan Howard machine. 7th going to be Travis Powell. Dustin Dean is 8th. 9th to Tyler Dalton, and John Theodore rounding out your top 10 in that 84 machine. On the move, started 12th, Theodore up to the 10th position here, but getting set to get re-green here for the first time, Gary, and these guys got single file early on. It was really calm battling, all considering, for Dover.
Yeah, I was half expecting somebody to hit that outside wall coming off turn number 2 or turn number 4. It hasn't happened yet, but you see Seth the Merchant. I've noticed that the Merchant on the first initial start of this race, he was directly right beside Kenny Lowry in the start of this race. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what the Merchant can do here on this restart.
Absolutely. DeMerchant to the outside and Lowry to the inside as we head back towards the restart zone. Pace car is in. Kenny Lowry on the gas pedal here. We're going to go re-green from Dover for the first time tonight, and he'll be able to pull in front 1/10 the way through this race at Dover. And Lowry out to an early lead. Weave out 3 wide there for a moment between Brandon Wilkinson and a whole mess of drivers. That was the 14 of Dustin Dean. Right behind him, the 1 of Reese Bayham, and it's a mix back at about 14th on back. A whole mess of drivers trying to make their way through. Your top group or so starting to get single file here early. Still that battle right now between Dustin Dean and Reese Bayham, your furthest one up the field.
Yeah, I'm surprised he made it through 3 wide there. That was quite interesting. But right now for the lead, Seth the Merchant to the inside of Kenny Lowry. He's finally gotten that run. The original battle was for second place. The Merchant on the inside lane with the advantage at the moment. Coming out turn number 4, sliding up just a little bit, almost making contact. Now here comes the 09 of William Kempf to join this battle now for second.
Yeah, Kempf down to the inside, and DeMerchant on the attack with the 54 kind of gave that room up a little bit, and the 09 going to wash up and nearly get into Ryan Howard there as they came off turn number 2, so the attack does not work, and it backfires for DeMerchant. The 09 tries to make it happen, and it backfires for him, so now Ryan Howard probably has the best run out of those 3 trucks. Not able to make it happen, though, as he nearly got hit when the 09 kind of washed up out of the corner. So Howard going to stay in 4th here for the moment and set the Merchant right back on the back bumper of Lowry, right where he picked up, and going to try and make it happen again.
Yeah, Seth the Merchant had a great run heading into turn 3. He almost had it, couldn't make a stick coming out of turn number 4. So hopefully for him, he can keep that inside lane the next time he makes this pass opportunity, which no doubt is going to be in just a couple of laps here. But that battle for second place is also, third place is also going to be becoming a thing. But for now, Seth the Merchant looking to the inside just on the quarter panel.
Set the Merchant down to the inside. He's going to try and pull even and try and make it happen out of 4. He's still there. Doesn't quite have the same looseness that he had last time. He's going to hang tough with the 54 of Kenny Lowry. DeMerchant making the inside line work, and can he do anything off the corner? No, they'll stay about an 8 even or so gap between the 2 trucks, but DeMerchant just doesn't have the overspeed on the top side. It's been really tough for him to try and make it work as they come through 3 and 4. Nope, still going to maintain side by side, but now Seth just ahead at the line. He'll grab that lap lead, and the 54 going to have to get out of it, and it's going to be very close between the 09 and the 42, but they're able to make it work. But new leader Seth the Merchant squeezed him out for first.
Lowry hit the wall coming out of turn number 2 as well to add insult to injury there, so that's definitely going to be costly just a little bit for Lowry. And looking on the right side, nothing really major. Now to the inside to pick up that third place position on Ryan Howard, but right behind them, Wilkinson and the 55 of Travis Powell are side by side.
Ooh, contact there. Powell nearly goes in the fence. Wilkinson got a little bit tight off turn number 2, but is able to hold on to it, and that'll send Reese Bayham all the way back right into the clutches of Dustin Dean. Is in front of these guys. The 42 of Ryan Howard going into battle a little bit. Thought about trying to get past Kenny Lowry. They were side by side off turn number 4, and all of that's happening while Seth the Merchant starting to pull away about 4/10 right now over William Kempf as his teammate Christian Peterson now going to dive to the inside of Dustin Dean again.
Peterson trying to gain whatever position that he can as quick as possible to join his teammate right now, and I'm looking through the field, not really seeing anything as of yet. A couple side-by-side battles, and DeMerchant almost about to get held up, makes contact with the 1 of Reese Bayham. That's going to slow his momentum and definitely gave him just a little bit of damage, no doubt.
Yeah, Bayham is, unfortunately, that pass isn't going to work because while he got by Peterson, the 14 of Dustin Dean was able to take advantage of kind of the speed that Bayham lost, and, well, I say that, and Bayham was able to get back by Dean, but for a moment there, it looked like the 14 was going to snooker him. Not going to happen this time, though, as Peterson side by side with Dean right behind Bayham. That's for that 8th position.
And just behind them, the 84 on the high side, that's John Theodore, as now Christian Peterson has finally cleared Dustin Dean for that 9th place. Going to set his sights on Reese Bayham right now once again, but 84 at 19, John Theodore and Tyler Dalton side by side coming out of turn number 2. Looks like that 84 of Theodore will be getting the advantage now coming out into turn number 3. Barely clears at 19.
Yeah, and Tyler Dalton won the couple drivers here this evening who you can catch the onboard shots with over at Twitch.tv. Tyler Dalton, Zone Z15, I believe, and John A. Theodore is at John _A_ Theodore. Both those drivers right now, the two streamers running 10th and 11th here at Dover. Side by side, the 14 of Dustin Dean up the track. Christian Peterson says thank you very much. He's going to move on through and back into that 8th position, but a little bit side by side in front of those guys as well. William Kemp has fallen through the field right now. Remember, he restarted in your top 3 and is all the way back to 7th here as he's dropping back early, as now Howard to the inside of Kenny Lowry again.
Yeah, Howard wants to get to that 2nd place position now, and these two just will not stop fighting, and I think somebody got loose. I'm not sure who that was from the angle that I was watching, but I think it was Lowry that got just a little bit loose, but he did manage to get that 2nd place position back from Howard. So Howard tried the attempt and couldn't make it happen, but now Reese Bayham in the 1. He's going to be moving to the inside for 5th place on Brendan Wilkinson.
Bam trying to make it work, but Wilkinson able to get the overspeed and slam the door on him, so Bam not able to go anywhere. You saw Christian Peterson on the shots there, able to get by William Kemp, and Kemp is falling further and further down your order back to 9th here. He's going to lose out to Dustin Dean, and Kemp's truck in big time trouble, got a little bit loose there, was able to hold on to it as Christian Peterson now to the inside of Reese Bayham, and that's for the 6th position.
But they both got 2 drivers in front of them that are single file right now, so this is going to play a big advantage to somebody unless Reese Bayham runs to the top side as of right now. Then in that case, never mind. But look at that run they got through turn number 2 into the outside wall.
Yeah, that overspeed you get when you're on the top side, like what Bayham there was able to get, it's so powerful. The biggest thing, though, is you just can't be up there for too long or else you're going to hit the wall like what Reese did. So, fortunately for him, despite the speed factor, wasn't able to hold off Christian Peterson. Peterson going to fly by him, and Peterson doing the most work out of everybody in the field right now. Now goes past Brandon Wilkinson like he was standing still, and here comes Peterson to the inside of Powell. Nobody can stop the 23. He's flying through the field.
Well, I can think of somebody, and by somebody, that's 2 of them. That'll be Ryan Howard and Kenny Lauer if they stay side by side.
They're going to be 4. They're going to basically roadblock Peterson, and he won't be able to get by. But the 23 has been absolutely dicing up the field this evening. And I mean, he started back, Gary, in 23rd position, and is all the way up to 4th now, and we're about a 5th of the way through this race, and Christian Peterson has just made mincemeat of everybody.
How ironic I start 23rd in truck number 23, but this is going to be interesting. He's got the speed coming up turn number 2. No, Ryan Howard looked to the inside for a second, couldn't get it done in time.
Yeah, now Peterson going to dive to the inside of Howard. That truck's done. He used Howard's kind of, when he got a little bit loose against him, Peterson makes that pass without even worrying about it. And now if you're Kenny Lowry, a little bit of wall there going into turn number 1. You saw him just get into it. That truck kind of buckle a little bit. And Peterson trying to make it happen, but the overspeed on Lowry just enough that he's going to be able to hang tough. This battle ain't over yet, though. Peterson going to send it into turn number 3. Side by side, they're even at the moment. Can Peterson make the pass before they get out of the corner? No, he thought about slamming the door, but Peterson the nose ahead. He is going to finish the pass going into turn number 1. And just like that, 6-man Inc. 1-2 here at Dover.
Lowry drifted up. Ooh, Ryan Howard had the check.
Ooh, car in the outside wall. That was Travis Powell. Slapped the wall. The one of Reese Bayham going to go into the wall, and it's going to get dicey there for the moment. 3 wide, and he's going to be able to hold on to it. It's nearly got into the 14 and nearly got into the 19, but it's getting all sorts of sketchy back here for about 6th.
Yeah, Reese Bayham now falling down the order. He's already fallen back to 9th right now, almost making contact with that number 19, almost making, I think he made contact with the 84 there as well. So Reese Bayham not really having the best of luck right now. That's something that you have to watch out for. Like you mentioned, with the overspeed, you have to be careful, especially exiting the corners.
And now Bayham going to fall back down to 11th. So just like that, a monumental run it had looked for East Bayham. Going to go out the window, at least for now. He's got plenty of time to make it up, though. Only going to complete lap number 39 here, so still plenty of race left in this thing. As right now, the battle continues. Kenny Lowry and Ryan Howard still going at it, maybe for third now, but they're still racing it side by side, the 42 and the 54.
It's like Christian Pearson didn't even pass by these guys. So
exactly.
Yeah, they're just acting like, all right, well, now that that person is gone, let's resume our battle once again. And Ryan Howard really wants to get into that podium position.
Howard definitely does, is a little bit of a voice crack there for me, but what Howard's been able to do here is just kind of hang tough with the 54, despite, you know, not having the overspeed so far. But this is going to be a very... Oh,
trouble after number 2, 17 of Kyle Lowry is heavily smoking.
And it's Kyle Lowry out now, and yeah, we'll go. There he is, the 17, the Fitzgerald truck. We talked about him earlier. Remember back a little while ago, Gary's, we have the replay coming up right now. Earlier on, remember, he got kind of barged out of the way, and after that, it looked like he was dropping like a rock, and then right into the outside. Well, more problems for Sean Cross as well. Both those trucks out here. And that truck basically went straight in the wall, so I'm not sure if that was maybe either because of the contact that he got sent up into there, or maybe a possible equipment failure for Lowry here. We'll get an overhead shot to see if we can figure out.
Looking at it right now, no, looks like it was just contact, but the way he got sent to the wall, maybe it could have been hardware as well, maybe a combination, but considering that he drove away and that he could still steer, I'm pretty sure it was just from the contact.
That was still a messy situation nonetheless for Sean Cross, and that'll bring out our second caution here from Dover. Is it worth taking the tires? We'll find out, but Seth the Merchant and Christian Peterson believe it is. As they hit pit road, everybody else going to come with them here as we approach the 1/3 mark here in the American Pool Supply Truck Series race here at Dover. And everybody of the same mentality. They want to come down. I'm thinking 4 tires here, Gary, just because you've been out on these tires for about a third of the race. If you split this race up, it almost works perfectly to where if you could get this, you know, another caution around the lap 100 mark, as long as you can make it there on fuel, that's the smart way to play this here, Gary, because you get 4 jacks. So you use 2 now, you use 2 on the next stop. That's, you know, your equal amount. But if we get a couple more cautions to break up the race, that might be something you have to keep in mind. But Seth the Merchant electing only to use 2 of his tires, 2 out of the 8, and he's left pit road. The only driver, I believe, no, looks like Travis Powell also going to only take 2 tires, but Seth the Merchant, the only driver out of your top group to take 2, not even his own teammate going to do so. You like the call, Gary?
I'm not sure, especially if you're a teammate. That's going to be very, very difficult to at least talk about over the radio and try and strategize and do whatever you can. So Christian Pearson, in fact, I think Pearson was originally going to take 2 tires because I saw his left sides go up, most definitely refueled, and then his right sides went up. So I'm pretty sure Christian Pearson decided right at the last second to take 4 of his 8 tires. So that's a very, very interesting decision.
Well, with that, we're going to take a moment to step aside here on LSRTV. We're a third of the way through the race here of the American Pool Supply at Dover. We'll step aside, and you're watching this on LSRTV, your home for sim racing.
Team racing allows multiple iRacing members to team up and race together, just like in real-world endurance series. Teammates can share driving duties, spot for one another, or be a crew chief. Team racing is free, both to join a team and to create one. Each teammate races on his or her own computer from wherever they want to. Your teammates can be anywhere in the world, and changing drivers mid-race is as easy as a click of a button. iRacing features team endurance events ranging from just a couple of hours to 24 hours in length. So, if you fancy taking part in an iRacing endurance race in the future, you can learn more about team racing on the teams page on the member website.
Lights are out on top the iRacing.com Ford Mustang pace car as we work lap number 45 under caution. Going to start us back green at lap 46 here from the Monster Mile. This is the American Pool Supply Truck Series on your home for sim racing, LSRTV. Cisco Scaramuzza alongside Gary Weaver. And Gary, after that second caution, 2 drivers stayed out. It's Todd Novosad and, well, the other driver that stayed out is Hip Hip Road. So with that, Seth the Merchant going to get the restart on the outside with 2 tires, and then you got everybody else on 4 back through the rest of your field.
Yeah, not sure about this call from Todd Novosad, but he's definitely doing an amazing job in terms of tire strategy. Pace car is off right now, so Todd Novosad going to lead everyone to the green here. Waiting, anticipation building. Novosad is on the pedal. We are down in the way.
No,
really got loose. Oh, saved it.
That was the wheel spin. We knew we were going to see it. That's one truck, but I think they managed to survive, and it all just backfired for Novosad. Put it right in the outside wall as soon as he went under power, and they scatter around him 3 wide for 2 rows there. They'll be able to hold on to it. McNaughton up in the outside wall as well, and there's trucks all over the place here at the Monster Mile, and they're going to try and sort it all out, but the 87 noticeably not fast at all. As right now we'll flash up to the battle for that 3rd position. Travis Paulo going right backwards, and a little bit of contact there with Kenny Lowry in the 54, and now to the inside is Dustin Dean, the 14, as the 54 going to barge his way through. That's Kenny Lowry, and it's going to be very close off the corner. 3 wide, no, Lowry's going to get touched. There they go.
Heavy impact by the 14 of Dustin Dean.
And to say we weren't going to see that, I have to say I was expecting a little bit of that, as there comes McNaughton getting ARCA braked and kind of turned. That might have been the 15 of Steve Hollingsworth. But that's not terribly surprising to me there, Gary. That was pandemonium on that restart. And it all kind of, this particular accident all kind of correlated around the 14. You see Dustin Dean dive to the inside, and right when he did that, Kenny Lowry tried to force it under Ryan Howell. Howard got a little bit loose. He hit the apron. Dean decides to try and get 2 trucks there. The 55 comes down, clips him, and then Dean gets blindsided and put straight in the outside barrier. And then as for McNaughton, trying to check up, and the 15 of Hollingsworth just sends him right into the 14, and a chain reaction back there, but a massive incident for that 14 truck.
Yeah, Dustin Dean almost had it, but he would have been even better for him if either he was just a little bit lower on the track, but I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have had enough time to really get into the usual line. So Dustin Dean, if he was just laying back just a little bit more, he would have been fine, but unfortunately that wasn't the case.
Yeah, you can ride on board the 14 of Dustin Dean. Pow, right in the outside retaining wall. That is not a fun, that's not a fun seat for that. There comes McNaughton with the late hit, but you gotta feel, because I mean, he thought about making it 3 wide, and it looked like he was gonna be fine. There was plenty of space there, Gary, to make the move. But just like that, you know, he gets blindsided, and you know, we thought that was going to be more damage to maybe someone like Kenny Lowry than it was otherwise. But Lowry, you can see down on pit road. That truck not in terrible shape. It's not in great shape, let's be honest. But I think arguably the guy who, you know, was right kind of in the middle of it actually didn't get it. It turned out to be Dean, who got basically just hooked, who took the brunt of that impact.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with what Dean did, moving to the inside, taking advantage of a situation, and shockingly enough, Lowry actually used a portion of the apron as well to get just a small portion of the apron to get through and to get to the inside there. Surprisingly, he did not spin out, so he used just enough of that apron to move to the inside, but also just enough to make sure that he didn't get loose and lose traction. But unfortunately, that 3 wide just didn't work out.
Yeah, it didn't, and that was like the 4th or 5th instance of 3 wide just in that one restart. So everybody got very stacked up after that initial restart. We saw Novosad in that 34 truck, you can see coming down pit road. I think he knows what he needs to do with the tires now, but we saw him get about almost 90 degrees just in front of the rest of the field. That truck did not go at all, and that could have been a massive issue, but was able to hold on to it, Gary. But you just have to wonder, if you're Novosad here, you Gotta be kicking yourself, but now you know. I guess you learned your lesson that way. It was not worth it at all, as he's gonna roll through pit road. I think he may have missed his pit stall there, but if you're the 34 truck, that's I mean, you know, I like the gamble, Gary, but that early, we know how tough on tires Dover is, and I don't necessarily agree with that call, but I think it served as a wake-up for everybody else in the rest of your field.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate example, but it is an example nonetheless for, unfortunately, in the form of Novosad. On the bright side, at least he saved it. That could have been
I was going to say,
worse.
yeah, that could have been a whole lot worse if he had not maintained control of that truck, and he got split 3 wide on the restart. If he was not able to buckle down and hold on to that thing, that could have been a massive accident. So, while the interesting strategy call not going to backfire, it could have been a whole lot worse for Todd Novosad, who finds himself back in about the 18th position. Still hasn't actually come down to get service on that truck yet, so hanging with the old tires, hoping it's going to pay for him later here, as lights are out looking like on the pace car, and yes they are. So top 10 as they roll through turns 1 and 2. Seth the Merchant, Ryan Howard. Then you got Travis Powell, John Theodore, Christian Peterson, Tyler Dalton, Derek Paulson, Cedric Hunter, Paul Henley, and the 87 of Matthew Murphy round out your 10 truck field here as we get set to go re-green from Dover. Of course, we mentioned earlier John Theodore, one of at least 2 streamers here this evening. Teddy right now sitting in that 4th position. He'll be restarting on the outside, and Dalton not too far behind him in the CMX entry. He's going to be starting 6th. But with that, pace car rolls through 3 and 4. Seth the Merchant going to elect for the outside this time. It's the iRacing.com Ford Mustang pace car gets set to make the left-hand turn back onto pit road, and the field going to be in control of Seth the Merchant. When does he hit the restart zone, and when does he fire that 57 Peterson irrigation truck off? He's going to wait for the opportunity to check everybody up. He's on the pedal, green flag back in the air, a little bit of a wiggle there from him, but able to hold on to it as we head back to turn number 1.
Side by side between 55 and 19, gets into the wall, and huge contact in the back. I believe that's number 3 truck. No, it's number 8. Randy Yoakum and 34 of Novosad gets involved.
And caution out once again. We saw just a peek of it there, but we're going to get a full look at what happened there. Missed my camera just a little bit, but that all started, like you said, around the 8 of Randy Yoakum, and bad week has gone into today, it looks like, as he comes off turn number 2, just gets the outside wall right across Reese Bayham in the 1, and then, you know, up in the racetrack and comes down, just gets Novosad. Novosad trying to make it through there, but what has been a rough, to put it lightly, a rough week for Randy Yoakum continues here, and at this point, you know, yes, we are technically into next week, but for Yoakum, I think it's going to be a good thing we have an off race on Monday, because he needs it after the runs that he's had this past week. It has been just everything going wrong for him, and you can see him clip Novosad there, but Yoakum out here at Dover.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate for Randy Yoakum. Haven't really seen him get any type of good luck, but then again, he's not the only driver that's had bad luck pretty much in general of iRacing, so hopefully Randy Yoakum can find some type of good luck eventually and as quick as possible, because, well, Dover, unfortunately, well, Miles the Monster has claimed him for today.
Yeah, Miles has been eating up a couple cars this last time by, and has brought out several cautions here to slow us down. And with that, we're going to step aside here. We are under caution and take another commercial break here. So you're watching round number 8 of the American Pool Supply Truck Series. We're at Dover, and we'll be right back here on LSRTV, your home for sim racing. Under our fourth caution here at Dover International Speedway as you watch round number 8 of the American Pool Supply Truck Series here on your home for sim racing, LSRTV. Cisco Scaramouza, Gary Weaver along with you as we get set to go re-green here for the third time today. And as it's been, Seth DeMerchant has been in command ever since he took the lead earlier on and is going to once again lead the field back to the green flag. And pace car getting set to head down pit road, and Seth going to be on the outside once again, electing, likes that outside line just a little bit more, maybe a little less wheel spin for the Peterson irrigation entry as he paces us through turns 4. And here we go, re-green here from Dover, and out to an early lead once again. There goes DeMerchant.
It's like the 55 of Travis Powell didn't really get too much of a good start. He started falling back right now. He's fallen back about 2 or 3 positions now, but Peterson now starting to gain more positions. He did fall back just a couple positions. He restarted 5th. He's back in 5th, but he's battling for 5th now, and that's number 12 with Cedric Hunter on the high side.
Yep, and that's Hunter trying, Hunter trying to make it work. Nope, that's Theodore actually that I was looking at, and Hunter also that 12 truck behind Theodore trying to make it work. So 2 by 2 for the moment, and Hunter gonna get way out of line there. That did not work for him at all. So he comes off the corner, gonna try and file it in front of Peterson, and slams the door on him. Peterson says, "No, thank you. I'm just gonna go by you here." So Peterson now he's actually gonna get right back into the back bumper of Tyler Dalton, and just like that, everybody's stacked up behind the 19, and Theodore now going to fall back a little bit, loses that position to Hunter, and kind of a revolving door there for a moment, but Peterson trying to get by, and trying to get by Dalton here as we go side by side, 2 rows deep, as there goes Howard down to the inside of DeMerchant. He'll make the pass easily. DeMerchant not happy on the top side, at least for the moment. Now the teammate's going to go at it for second.
Oh, that's good as well. Less than 19 is going to do. Oh, he makes contact with Seth DeMerchant, sends him up the hill into turn number 3, almost into the outside wall. Amazing job by that 57 to hang on to it, but that's going to send him way back now at the moment down to 13th.
That DeMerchant just got an express trip from about 2nd all the way back to 13th. And he's going to have to do all that work that his teammate did earlier to get back up to the lead fight. So Seth not going to be particularly happy with that driver, but nonetheless, they'll go side by side for 3rd. There goes Cedric Hunter, who's been on a charge so far since we got re-green here. He started 2nd, fell back, and now trying to work his way back through this field and doing an excellent job as he's going to just clear Tyler Dalton as they head through turns 2 again.
Down the back straightaway, single file for the most part. Theodore back up into 5th place position right now, so Theodore has a little bit of an up and down restart back into the top 5 side by side for 8th place right now between the 55 and the 56. Quite ironic there, but nonetheless, the 56 of Wilkinson trying to get by on the inside, and he will do just that. Powell looking to make a crossover coming out of 2, can't get it done.
Yeah, no, Powell is now going to drop right in front of Derek Paulson, and that's Kenny Lowry. So these two back together, even though it's not for 2nd. These two are going to fight at it for 9th as Lowry got a little piece of the wall there, but trails the 55 of Travis Powell once again. But single file through your top group. Your top 3 starting to split away just a little bit. That's Ryan Howard, Christian Peterson, and Cedric Hunter. Your top 3, and we've said Hunter's been on a charge, and he's trying to go for 2nd position now as Peterson got a little bit tight going through that corner and brought Hunter right to him as we head through 1 and 2 once again.
I was just about to say Hunter was the fastest out of all 3 out of this top 3, but now that goes to Peterson, who looks to the inside for the lead on Ryan Howard. Turn number 3 now to the outside is Ryan Howard, going to fall back in behind Peterson. So now Cedric Hunter, well, like you mentioned, he's had that momentum, so right now...
Blue truck in the outside wall. Just looking to see who that was. That was Paul Henley, the 16. Saw it on the straightaway shot there, and that truck going to go on the outside wall. He's going to lose a bunch of time there. Meanwhile, we come back up to 3rd, and now Cedric Hunter going to dive to the inside of Howard. And we'll be able to make that pass happen, and the 12 going to clear him out of turn number 4. So move Cedric Hunter back to where he started in 2nd.
Yeah, Cedric Hunter is doing an amazing job. You can see Pearson, he's running the higher line, and surprisingly he's got that momentum to keep that car, to keep that truck vehicle, if you will, just enough out in front. But look at that number 12, he's diving it into the corner, and he's using the lower line turns 1 and 2, so that's definitely going to be playing into that favor of Cedric Hunter.
Yeah, Hunter now going to move up to that second position, just about half a truck length behind the 23 of Peterson. So Hunter going to try and improve his position one more and get the lead for the first time today. But Peterson to the top of the point. We talk about the charge, Gary, that he had today. It was a monumental charge that we saw of that driver. That was, I don't think I've ever seen anyone make mincemeat of a field at Dover quite like that. That was insane.
And that was simply amazing, but I think Cedric Hunter is trying to say, well, you know what? If you can make mincemeat out of the entire field, I can just make mincemeat out of you. And you can see he's sticking with Christian Pearson, who runs a very much higher line just on the fading portion of this, of where the grip usually is, of where the rubber has been laid down. So Pearson trying a different line, and surprisingly it is working.
Yeah, it is working right now for Peterson, and it's been interesting because he hasn't necessarily... It allows them, the fact, Gary, to be able to use the overspeed that we've seen so crucial here at Dover previously. Peterson, because he's running that middle lane, it forces everybody to try and make that pass either at the beginning or center of the corner, because once you get to about halfway through the corner, then the outside line comes into its own. You just drive away. Look at Peterson just drive and pull the 12 when they come out of the corner. That's the advantage that using that topside gives you.
Yeah, I'm quite interested that Hunter and Howard have not used that line as of yet right now. So this time around, a lot of times have been pretty much identical, and it still is. All three of them, well, top two are in 24.2, and Howard, unfortunately, in a 24.3, but still sticking with Cedric Hunter.
Yeah, and Hunter doing an excellent job right now, kind of maintaining that gap, despite the fact Peterson's been able to pull on him a little bit, but you can see the gap start to open nonetheless. Meanwhile, the next three trucks or so, or you kind of have Tyler Dalton not in no man's land. He's in fourth right now. And then Brandon Wilkinson, John Theodore, and William Kempf. Remember, Kempf kind of fell through this field here for a while, and Gary now finds himself in the 7th position. Doesn't have to worry about too much behind him, but for the moment is kind of just hanging out here in 7th as the battle's on for 9th. That was Derek, no, that was the 00. That was actually Gabe Wood, late entry into this race. You see that truck, he is far and away 7 laps down at the moment here, so he's got a long road to hoe here at Dover, or actually no, way more than that even. So Gabe's got a long way to go, but getting past there is a lap down truck. But back to what we were talking about, Theodore and Kempf now going to try and battle it out. That's 6th position right there.
Yeah, William Kempf has a little bit of front end damage, but he's still making that momentum work on top of the back bumper of John Theodore almost, entering turn number 1. So if Kempf didn't have that front end damage, I'm pretty sure he would have been able to get to the inside lane. Yeah,
I agree, and I think Kempf at this point, you know, he fell down the field earlier. This is going to be the perfect opportunity. Use it to rebound yourself a little bit and see how you can make things happen. You see him look to the right to the back bumper of Theodore. Now going to look to the inside this time as further afield. You see it looks like Tyler Dalton just going by a lap truck there, and yeah, that's exactly what that is. But we saw Kempf, nope, not able to make it happen on Theodore there. So we head into turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, he had the inside, but I'm pretty sure without that damage, he would have been able to at least stay a little bit longer side by side. Looks like he could be looking to the inside again. Nope, just on top of the back bumper once more, entering turn number 1. Peterson has actually extended the gap just a little bit by about 1/10 is what I'm seeing. Last time I checked it was 0.3, now it's half a second, 0.5 seconds now. But Ryan Howard, most interestingly, is actually still quite just enough within striking distance of Cedric Hunter.
Yeah, Howard's still right there, and we'll be able to make a move here as the race goes on if he can just hold on to those tires and close that gap a little bit. Hunter definitely used up a lot of the good out of his tires here early on, but as we're going to complete lap number 79, just a little bit past halfway, that was about lap 75 or so, and as we see CP head through some lap traffic, let's take a look at your iRacing Midway Race Break. brought to you by iRacing, the world's premier online racing game with officially sanctioned racing from the likes of NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, the World of Outlaws, Super Dirt Car Series, the Cars Tour, and many more. Christian Peterson continues to lead. Second going to be Cedric Hunter. Third to Ryan Howard. Fourth right now is going to be Tyler Dalton. Fifth to Brandon Wilkinson. Sixth place is going to go to John Theodore. Seventh to William Kemp. Kenny Lowry, Paul Henley, and Derek Paulson round out your top 10.
Currently in the 11th, that's going to be Matthew Murphy, Reese Bohan, and the 12th, after having a little bit of bad luck, Travis Powell. 13th, 14th, Seth the Merchant. 15th, John Lade, CJ Mason, Kyle Mangray, Jeremy Watkins, Todd Neverset, and Tyler Legal Vickery. 16th through 20th.
And 21st, James Krahula, Stephen A. Hollingsworth, 22nd, John McNaka, 23rd, 24th to Randy Oakham, who's still managing to hang in this race. More power to you, Randy. 25th right now is Matt Cucker. Ignore that little snafu there on the tab. But 26th to Dustin Dean, 27th to Kyle Lowry, I should say. Sean Cross, 28th, and 29th is Gabe Wood. Also do want to point out Matt Cucker sits in the 30th position, or actually no, that is correct. He is in 24th right now. But that's been a look at your iRacing midway race break as we watch Peterson go past the 34 of Todd Novosad. If you want to get yourself on the sim here and find out more about everything in the world of iRacing, you can go to iRacing.com to sign up today. And if you head over to iRacing.com/membership, there will be some special deals for you to find out to help you get onto the sim, stuff like 3 months for only $5 and everything else like that. That's iRacing.com/membership. But Peterson right now doesn't look like Ryan Howard there. Gary got caught up in a little bit of lap traffic because now 2 trucks lead the rest of your field. It's a 2-truck breakaway here at Dover.
Well, so did Pearson, but then Pearson came up on that lap traffic, probably the incorrect line, so that's what caused this number 12 of Cedric Hunter to reel Christian Pearson in just a little bit. And last time around, looks like Cedric Hunter was just ever so slightly faster by about 1/100th of a second, so that's 0.01 seconds faster over the last time around. So Cedric Hunter essentially is doing an amazing job sticking with Peterson, but the question is, can Hunter get by Peterson?
I would be surprised if he could. That would come down to the fact of where Peterson would just not have the tires, because right now he has the advantage of being out the outside, and that I think is definitely going to help that 23 truck when the battle comes, if the battle comes. But as it sits right now, Hunter doing an excellent job, was able to work his way back into the position that he started. So those two going to meanwhile lead your field. Howard, meanwhile, he's still hanging tough. I will say he hasn't been completely lost in the shuffle. Still there, but just not quite, I think, as close to these guys as he would like.
Yeah, however, lap 86 showed him with a 24.6, and it still does right now, but he was the fastest out of all 3 of these drivers. So right now that has went to Christian Pearson with a 24.7, 24.8 for both Hunter and Howard. So nothing really going on. I think Howard may have caught the wall, or he almost caught the wall coming out of turn number 2.
Well, that's not really going to help you take the lead back over Gary, so I think Hunter's got to stay a little bit away from those walls here. You don't want to use up the good out of your truck here in this race. Meanwhile, John Theodore is in a battle of his own for that 6th position. William Kemp, the 09, going to go by him, and now the lap truck of Gabe Wood going to try and make things happen, and Gabe still, no, he's not. He's going to try and poke the bear, but nothing there. As the 84 going to get a little bit sketch there as they head through into turn number 3 this time. And yep, no, Gabe going to go right behind the 09 of William Kemp again, or rather Theodore will, but Kemp all the way back up to the 6th position here, so trying to stop the bleeding that he had earlier. But the problem is the next driver up for him can be the gray truck of Brandon Wilkinson, not the truck immediately in front of him, but rather the one beyond that a little bit closer. We'll cut to the wide shot here so you can see what we're talking about. There's Kempf, and then you see Novosad there. That's a lap truck. Then there's Brandon Wilkinson, who's catching the 3 truck of John McNaka. That's a lap down truck. Also Tyler Dalton, you can see him still out in no man's land at the moment in that 19 truck, but a great battle nonetheless was having between Kempf, and he's going to pull away a little bit here. So we look more for a couple more battles. Everybody's starting to spread themselves out here, Gary, and that means one thing, is one truck smoking big time as we head through 3 and 4. That's Novosad. Might have gotten in the outside walls. We're going to take a look at that and see if we can figure out what happened to him, but big time smoke on the hard drive motorsports machine.
Actually, no, he just completely exploded coming out of turn number 2.
He just lost the engine?
Yeah, he didn't make any contact with the wall, interestingly enough, so I'm not sure.
We'll wind it back and see if we can see when that engine exploded. That was a little bit too far back, but we'll hover above him here for the moment. Coming off turn number 4, Novosad, remember, had damage previously. Remember, got into the outside wall when he restarted on pole after not taking tires. And after that, then had an issue to where he was kind of a late entry into the wreck with Randy Yoakum, and you could see him come through 1 and 2, and yep, just like that, just engine going to explode. So the sustained damage was just too much for that Toyota, and with that, Novosad going to head down pit road and basically going to extend the life of what has not been a great race for the 34 of Todd Novosad. But keep in mind, Gary, this was the first time that he had been down pit road. So he was trying to make the long con with the pit strategy work. Not quite the way he wanted to. Todd Novosad out here, at least for now, at Dover. But side by side, nope, never mind. That's Kyle Menger just kind of hanging out. How about side by side Matthew Murphy? A little bit of a battle here. That number 5 truck going around the lap truck. That's the 4 of James Krahula. And then right on his bumper, it's the 87 of Matthew Murphy. This could be an interesting battle.
Here comes Reese Bonham into the battle as well. Just finally managed to make his way around James Krahula, so he can pick up the tail end of this battle and almost to the inside with Matthew Murphy, but couldn't quite find momentum out as of yet, as Todd Novosad has decided to take it behind the wall and retire the truck for today. So bad luck to worse luck, and well, unfortunately it's just a bad week for Novosad. But right now for 10th place, Reese Bonham was just on top of the back bumper, couldn't really find anything, but you see these 3 drivers running the same line that Peterson was running. Yeah,
Peterson kind of started using that outside line, and I think these guys starting to realize how potent that's going to be, as Bonham right now continuing to follow this whole group, and Matthew Murphy keeping them all at bay for the moment as they come off turn number 2. Lap 98 in the books right now, and everybody very out and spread out except for this battle for about 10th. This is your closest battle for the most part on the whole racetrack. Only a handful of cars, seldom less than half a second in close together. So this is really the closest battle for everybody. As you can see, the 87 take a look to the inside of Derek Paulson. Got a little bit loose off the corner, is able to hold on to it. Lap number 100 going to be working here, and with that we'll take our final commercial break. Can't quite go LSRTV nonstop quite yet, but with that we'll be back in about 2 minutes or so. You're watching round number 8 of the American Pool Supply Truck Series here at Dover on your home for sim racing, LSRTV. Back in a moment. Cutting the commercial there because the leader, Christian Peterson, has just been involved in an accident. And oh my goodness, huge implications here as we rejoin you here from Dover. I had just sat back down and I just saw the leader get clipped here. And Christian Peterson, what was a monumental run here today, got absolutely blindsided as we take a second look at that one. That just came out of nowhere. I'm not even sure who that was, Gary.
That was the 55 of Travis Powell, and I think he was actually braking to head into pit road.
Jeez.
And he lost traction.
So he takes out Peterson. Peterson comes down into who was the second place driver of Cedric Hunter, who also sustains damage, but we need to figure out what happened to Powell. We'll get a second look at that one. Like you said, I think he was he was braking to get onto pit road, but oh my goodness, what a turn this race takes. And all while we are away, and yeah, you can see him brake for the corner. The rear end goes out from under him. He cannot maintain it, and you see the 23 just swing by. I've seen a lot of things, but that is incredible right there. I've never seen anything like that before, Gary, and that has basically taken Christian Peterson out of this race.
Yeah, so now, since most people are pit road, don't forget Cedric Hunter as well, so if this had stayed green, that's where they'd give the lead to Ryan Howard, but of course we didn't stay green, so that's the reason why we are under caution. I saw that as well, and that was just completely unexpected. Howard now exiting his pit stall, so he'll be first off, and looks like nobody managed to stay out. Nope, correction, John Lodday stays out for the moment, but my goodness, I haven't never seen that before.
That was a hardware failure. We're getting reports that apparently when he slowed down, Travis just apparently something broke. So, well, I mean, it was obviously not intentional because, I mean, you don't want to take out the leader here, but that just unfortunate for the 55 of Travis Powell. And you got to feel for Christian Peterson. I mean, at the end of the day, that was, you know, obviously the 55 wasn't trying to do it, but nonetheless, you're Christian Peterson. Your race goes up in smoke for nothing you had anything to do with. So just like that, it all goes out the window. Everybody getting service to their truck, it looks like. We're just kind of falling into the pit window here. So with this pit stop coming the way it did, shouldn't have to worry about a pit stop for the rest of the race, but I just can't get over that. That was nuts.
And looking at the replay again, I'm focusing on the tires right now, at least the front tires, and yeah, that must have been that kind of a failure, because if he most likely had a pedal failure, then his front tires would have locked up, no doubt, but unfortunately they didn't. So that's, like you said, an interesting turn of events, and it was definitely very unexpected. So
it was sudden too.
Yeah, I didn't expect that to happen, so I'm not sure what to think about this, but this gives the lead to Ryan Howard at the moment. So not just Seth the Merchant, but now not Ryan Howard, but now Christian Peterson has also ran into some bad luck.
Yeah, so both these drivers so far, remember,
hold on.
Seth got shuffled back through the field as...
Sorry about that. Ryan Howard was just given an EOL penalty. So speaking of bad luck, what do you know? Possibly driving between more than 2 pit stalls.
Oh, yep.
So
that is one of the rules that carries over. That is a rule on Monday as well. These guys get 3, but Howard drove through too many pit stalls, so now he's going to get sent to the back. And just like that, the driver who is in 4th, out in the middle of nowhere, Tyler Dalton, just taking control of this motor race here with about 44 laps to go or so. Tyler Dalton moves into the catbird seat, and just like that, I mean, it's for him, it just kind of came out of nowhere. So all of a sudden, Dalton going to start on the outside pole, and Brandon Wilkinson going to start to the inside. But after that one caution, we lost the leader and 2nd place, and now 3rd place getting sent to the back. It's a bizarro day, apparently, with the baseball game on Friday and the light amount of drivers we had on Saturday, and now this caution on Sunday. Apparently the full moon weekend is just going to continue on here, as it has been a wacky weekend in the world of commentary, for me at least, this past weekend. Oh, he drove through 2. You're only allowed 2 pit stalls, and it looks like Hunter drove through, or rather the 42 of Howard drove through 3 at least. So Howard gonna get penalized for that, and as they come off turn number 4 this time, green flag back in the air, Dalton back on the loud pedal. See if anybody wheel spins it here. Everybody looks good as we get re-green here from Dover.
So now about for 2nd, which may have been about for about 5th had this accident not happened, but Wilkinson now on the low side, but getting passed by Kenny Lowry, who's up to second. Look at that crossover by Theodore. This could be his first time breaking into the top 3, pretty much unbelievable, this entire race, if you will. So now he can move Theodore up to top 3, just at the line. It was insanely close, but my goodness, these drivers are still side by side by about 1,000th or so, it's like in 3,000ths it seems, and still side by side coming off turn number 2.
Yeah, the look out of the back window of Theodore's truck, and doesn't quite work out for him side by side right now with Kenny Lowry as we roll through turns 3 and 4. And Theodore trying to use that bottom side. He's got the fresh tires right now, so while you have the overspeed, you're going to probably prefer that bottom side, as Theodore is going to get a little bit loose off the corner, and now we'll pull up even once again with Kemp as we head back to turns 3 and 4.
Theodore is not going to give up this position so easily, and I don't blame him whatsoever. I think Kemp's got a little bit loose, but he does get the overspeed and momentum coming off of turn number 4. Just gave him the advantage heading into turn number 1, but Theodore fighting back on that inside lane, so it looks like these drivers are matched, but in essentially different portions of the racetrack. I think Theodore got a little bit loose, almost went into the door of Kemp there, but now battle for second place.
Yeah, battle for second place right now. It's Brandon Wilkinson versus Kenny Lowry, who's worked his way back up through this field. Truck a little bit more worse for wear than I think he would like, but still trying to make it happen on the outside. Less than 30 to go now, or rather around less than 40 to go here from Dover, as Theodore now going to maybe think about it. He took a look to maybe think about making it 3 wide. I wouldn't recommend it though, as now it's going to be a 2x2 battle, as there goes Kemp up to the outside. So it's 2x2 here for second on. There goes Kemp up into the outside wall, just a little bit of contact, and he's going to lose 2 spots as Bayham. That's the lap truck of Gabe Wood going to go by as well, so only 1 spot there, but 2 trucks go by the 09 of William Kemp as the battle continues for second.
Surprisingly sticking up on that high side is Kenny Lowry. We can see why he qualified for the pole across the line. That was Lowry for second place there by essentially less than 1/100th of a second. So still side by side and fine back. Looks like these 2 lines and these 2 drivers are basically equal now. But look at who's doing in this battle. Not only John Fiedler, but Bruce Bayham and maybe Gabriel Wood if he decides to battle back with these drivers. But essentially, I just let these 2 races out if I was Theodore.
Yeah, and Gabe's kind of doing the same thing, not really involved in this. He's several laps down, missed the start of the race, so he's kind of just sitting, letting these guys go at it. I think if he has the opportunity to get by him here and maybe get a lap back, he'll do so. But as it sits right now, all of this meanwhile happening about a second and a half behind Tyler Dalton as well. Dalton out to the races. He's in no man's land once again, but the good thing is he's leading this thing. As Theodore now going to send it to the inside of Lowry. Can he steal away that position? Is Wilkinson going to get a little bit sketchy there for the moment, but able to hold on to it as now side by side continues for third.
Bad news for anyone who's a fan of Cedric Hunter. He unfortunately has decided to take it behind the wall as well. And I wouldn't be surprised. Look at that crossover by Kenny Lowry, though, for that second place position. Couldn't get it to stick, however. Aaron turn number 1. That was an amazing crossover, but he just didn't have the momentum in time, where he backed out just in time. But right behind them, the battle between William Kemp and I believe Bayham got the wall coming out of turn number 2, and he did, just ever so slightly. Yeah,
Bayham got the wall, and with that, down to the inside is William Kemp. Kemp going to come off turn number 4, and that truck, after he got kind of sent into the outside wall, hasn't been 100% since, and trying to make the pass on Ryan Howard here, and Howard, remember, got sent to the back and has been working his way through this field here through too many pit stalls, and Howard trying to rebound after that one. The good news is he only kind of restarted around the 11th position or so. With that many trucks as laps down, we have the first truck one lap down is actually Kyle Manger in that 25, so he's back in about the 12th position, 11th on first, are all on the lead lap here. But Ryan Howard working his way back through this field as it starts to calm down for the moment between your top runners. There goes CP. Christian Peterson just trying to pick up the pieces after what was a heartbreaker of a caution there earlier on.
Yeah, it's very disappointing, and Peterson now was in first, has dropped back all the way to 18th position. Now it's just through one mistake as well. Of course, he can't really do anything about it. He was running his own line, and well, it's just the wrong place, wrong time, unfortunately, for Christian Peterson. But side by side for 4th place, Howard and Lowry. Howard on the low side, may have gotten a little bit loose on the inside. Was that number 42 coming off turn number 4? And I wouldn't be surprised if they'd be heading, and they are heading single file. I'm not surprised, taking it safely as quick as possible. But look at Howard on the back bumper of Kenny Lowry coming off turn number 4, turn number 2.
Yeah, and Howard now going to go right by Kenny Lowry. And side by side, continuing off the corner. He's going to be able to hold on to it. 54 hanging tough on that outside, and he'll be able to hold on to it. But the race continues. Ryan Howard driving, I think, with a little bit of extra edge on him now, Gary. You know, trying to make up for the positions that he lost due to the penalty. A little bit of a chip on his shoulder, I think, wants to be able to prove that he belongs back in the position he was in earlier. He gave up the lead, keep in mind, and fell back to about the 11th position after that penalty. But less than 30 laps to go now for Tyler Dalton, who's now, that lead has dropped. It was about a second earlier, or about
contact
a second.
Kenny Lowry sideways. He does manage to save it coming off of turn number 2, however, and it's huge stack
It's just
up.
a mess. This is just a mess of trucks back here for about 4th on back. You got everybody. You got is that Theodore? Yeah, still up there, but yeah, this is just that's actually Lugo Vickery, rather. They're going to go 3 wide around Lugo Vickery. This is just a mess. Is Lowry going to get tight? Makes contact again. We just can't leave these guys, Gary. I was going to mention the lead gap, but it's kind of stabilized, at least for the moment. Wilkinson about a second behind Tyler Dalton, but these guys are just all over the place here. The urgency and kind of the bottleneck that's happening right now around your 5th place position.
Yeah, that's insane, but it's the exciting type of insane, because I love this. Aside from when they wreck and Lowry gets tight again, oh my goodness, and almost into the wall with William Kemp. I believe he got just a very small piece of it, almost got up into both of those drivers was Kenny Lowry. So Lowry now trying to somehow stop the bleeding as much as possible, but right now he's just going to have to fall back and try all over once again.
Yeah, the 09 just flies by the 54 of Kenny Lowry, and Kemp at this point, just kind of got in the outside wall, but not too bad there for him, as Bayham still in that 5th position. You can see Howard's kind of pulled away, as has John Theodore. John Theodore has actually pulled out a huge group, and he's actually starting to knock on the door of Brandon Wilkinson here. So Theodore, this might turn out to be a top 3 run for this driver, and fantastic job for him out of the Great Plains. And the streamer, of course, you can see his point of view of this over on twitch.tv/John_8_Theodore, I believe. And streaming tonight, but Teddy looking good so far, and about going to be 20 laps to go here in the not too distant future.
Yeah, you're about to mention the lead, and I believe everything's calmed down enough to where we can mention that. I think.
Yeah, exactly.
No, never mind, because...
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I saw that too. Seth the Merchant was to the inside of Kenny Lowry, and I believe he got to the outside wall, but look at this. Seth the Merchant charging back up after almost getting fully turned, making contact. Kenny Lowry halfway sideways, and he saves it coming off turn number 4.
That was... yeah. That was a little bit sketch there, but... we mentioned another driver trying to come back here. Seth the Merchant, remember, a while ago got sent kind of to the back, not on a penalty, but rather got forced back there after some contact. So Seth working his way back through this field, the sole driver on the lead lap for the Vincier and 6-Man Inc. stable right now, as we watch side by side Reese Bayham and William Kemp going at it.
I think the best point is just to mention the lead gap and just not change.
Yeah, and just not go there, because these guys keep battling. We can't leave them.
Yeah, it's the exciting kind of racing though. So right now the gap has closed just a little bit, 0.8 seconds now. Is just about 5 or so laps ago. Is at about a second, 1.04 seconds. So that gap for Wilkinson is slowly closing, or should I say the gap for Dalton is closing. Wilkinson closing the gap by now 10.7 seconds. So slowly and quickly is closing the gap as Wilkinson. I believe something has happened to Dalton, or Wilkinson.
I think he's just burning the tires up.
Yeah, that could be it.
I mean, you know, this is, as we come to start 20 laps to go this time, Wilkinson just doing Brandon Wilkinson things to pull the Jacob Seelman quote out of obscurity there for the moment. Brandon Wilkinson is doing Brandon Wilkinson things. This is what he does. He's been able, at least the last couple races I've seen him in where he's been in this situation, it's been kind of the same story. Kind of hangs around the middle of the pack all day, maybe gets a little bit flashy for a bit, But then, you know, when it comes time to work, he's maybe not necessarily leading, but sitting in a second or a third and slowly closing the gap on the leader. And if you're Tyler Dalton, it's like watching, it's like this impending sense of doom, because you know Wilkinson's coming, you know he saved his tires, and I don't know if Tyler Dalton's going to be able to hold off Wilkinson. He'll be able to try. This is one of the tracks, Gary, where you can try and defend here, and Tyler Dalton's going to have plenty of tools at his disposal to do just that. And well, there's no bones about it. Wilkinson is there, and we'll be staying with the leaders here for a bit. It's going to get a little bit sketchy there. That's the one thing Wilkinson cannot afford to have happen, is have the internet connection go out on him. He needs to make this pass clean, but Dalton's going to fight with everything he's got here, with about going to be coming to 16 laps to go.
Well, on the bright side for Wilkinson, it's only happened, I believe, about 2 or 3 times out of this entire race. So Wilkinson should be fine for now at the very least, but I'm not sure what series, to be honest. But I know before the last time we were here in the truck, somebody ran out of fuel, and I believe it was Jeremy Adams, I'm not sure, but somebody ran out of fuel here. So could it be at least the second time that I'm here, somebody ran out of fuel?
We're good.
So somebody
we're good.
Could be, yeah, that's true, but
don't break. That was yesterday. That was yesterday. That was yesterday. At Phoenix, Jamie Walker ran out of gas coming to the start-finish line. We're not doing that today. Fuel strategy will not be a part of this at all. This will be a melee here as we come to take 15 to go, and Brandon Wilkinson gonna look to the inside. First attack there. Dalton defends.
Yeah, Wilkinson is there, and well, it could be tires this time, at least for Dalton. So Wilkinson has been conserving his tires just enough, and you can see he's just about truck length behind. He is there. The question is, when is he going to make the move? As right now, another battle for third place is starting to brew. That's Ryan Howard. He's caught up with John Theodore right now, entering for third place. These two are definitely not waiting until the last moment.
No, they aren't, and Theodore going to try and hang tough on the outside, but Howard going to have the run off the corner there, and he may have the fastest truck out of everybody at this point. He's kind of running about a tenth faster than everybody else, so Howard may be in this battle before too long. And if the 19 and 56 go side by side for an extended part of time, it could be Ryan Howard to come from the back of the lead lap on that last caution to win this thing. That would be very cool to see. But Wilkinson now going to look to the inside of Dalton as they head through 3 and 4.
Now Wilkinson decided to make his move now, and I wouldn't be surprised. Loses the momentum on the inside lane. Well, he has about 12 or so more chances left to get that lead once again. So he's gotten to the inside. He made the passing opportunity right. He just needs to make it stick. But that could be a sign that the tires are starting to go.
And look out kind of towards the corner of your picture. Howard is coming. Could he be the X factor in this battle? Will he have the best truck out of the 3? We'll find out. It's going to be 11 to go at the line. Wilkinson running out of time. I'm almost worried for Wilkinson. You've got to get by Tyler Dalton, because Howard is coming, and he's taken the last couple laps about 4/10 out of this gap. That was another 10th just rolling through the corner. Howard is absolutely flying right now.
Yeah, Howard was at about 1.4 seconds the last time around we were at this track, so a 10th per lap. This could mean that Howard could possibly get at least up to second, but if he gets up to first, that'd be insanely amazing, and definitely an amazing comeback out of this. But right now, Wilkinson is just on top of the back bumper of Tyler Dalton right now. But if these two go side by side, that's going to give an even bigger advantage to Howard.
I think Todd Kirkwood's probably watching right now, and if he is, he's got, oh, there goes Dalton, a little bit loose, just got the apron. That might be enough for Wilkinson to make the move. He looks to the inside, no, blocked by Dalton. 9 to go this time. And if you're Todd Kirkwood, these are your 2 trucks right now, Gary. You're probably watching with, like, through your fingers at this point. You got your hands covering your eyes, because you don't want to look, because we've seen these 2 trucks, you don't want them to get together. You want this to be a nice clean battle. And if you're worried about Ryan Howard, you should be, because he's less than a second now behind him.
Yeah, part of me does. Well, if you were...
Oh, here comes the 90.
Oh,
ooh, that was sketchy there for a moment.
That was really close there. I saw that as well, just out of the corner. So, yeah, like you mentioned, if you're Todd Kirkwood, you want to watch, but you don't want to watch. And Wilkinson was almost there. He keeps stuffing it in. He is there. He just can't find the momentum just yet.
God, if you're watching, just root for these two trucks to beat Howard at this point because, well, no, Howard lost about a tenth there. So it may not be enough for Ryan Howard as Dalton trying to hold on. Wilkinson, he has the faster truck. He caught Dalton, but he might be waiting to make that move. Or maybe trying to make sure he doesn't get into his teammate here, trying to force a mistake maybe out of the 19. But as they come off the corner here, going to be 6 laps to go this time at Dover. Brandon Wilkinson is running out of time. He's there, but can he make the move?
See, the thing that would actually be good strategy in the case is that you stay in their mirror and then you cause them to make a mistake from looking in their mirror so much, or just the threat of having them to the inside. But at the same time, you have to make the move as quick as possible. Like you mentioned at LS, we come to 5 laps to go for Tyler Dalton. That Wilkinson has caught up to Dalton, so Wilkinson shouldn't be waiting. He should have passed Dalton the chance that he got, and he did. Unfortunately, couldn't make it stick, but if he can get it now, he should not be worried about Dalton, as Dalton's tires are pretty much shot as of the last time we checked. But right now, it could be Wilkinson whose tires are shot just ever so slightly more than Dalton.
The gap between Howard and Dalton right now is the gap I've been watching. That is kind of stabilized at this point. It's been about 1.1 seconds, so I'm not sure Howard's going to play a factor into this. But 4 laps to go. Green-white checkered is on the docket if we need it, but everybody very spread out at the moment. I don't think we'll go that direction. The William Kemp, I do want to quickly go back and document having a little bit of a battle with Reese Bayham right now. We'll cover that by the time this race is over, but 3 to go. Can Brandon Wilkinson make it happen? He's got the speed. Can he get there? Or is Dalton going to be able to defend? He does going into turn number 1. Wilkinson saving everything maybe for one final charge. Howard just took about 4/10 out of it last time by. He may still play a factor, and this might have just been saving a little bit, but lap traffic going to be a factor. That's the 22, I believe. John Lyday nearly gets into the wall there. That could play a factor. 2 laps to go.
This is going to be a very exciting 2 laps, as right now this is something that neither of these drivers want. Neither of the drivers in the top 3, and you have to communicate as best as possible.
Yep, there goes Lyday. He does not want to be a part of this at all.
Wilkinson to the inside in turn 3 almost had it. He looked to the inside, but that forces the 19 up the track. Inside goes Wilkinson for the lead.
This could be the battle for the win. White flag. Wilkinson not going to get there. He's going to have 2 more shots at it. They head to turn number 1 this time. Wilkinson still too far back. Does he dive it in turn number 3? They come off turn number 2. A decent run for Wilkinson. Not able to get the overspeed. Last shot. Does Wilkinson? He sends it into turn number 3. Dalton blocks, and Dalton is going to be able to hold on to it. They come off turn number 4. Tyler Dalton holds off Brandon Wilkinson and wins at Dover.
Oh my goodness, that was absolutely amazing.
That was a fantastic battle, and it could have gotten physical. It did not. And Todd Kirkwood, his 2 trucks going to finish 1-2. And Dalton going to bring home the bacon. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. It's Tyler Dalton, and he's going to go burn it down on the front stretch. What a battle here. After we got the restart, it was a 46-lap melee to the finish here, Gary. And it was the calm, the calculating moves from Brandon Wilkinson to try and take the lead away, and just wasn't enough.
Yeah, he almost had it at one point as well. That was an amazing opportunity that he had when John Lyday had moved out of the way to the inside. That was a perfect opportunity, but he just couldn't get it to stick into the inside. But nonetheless, he still managed to make it up to the inside. But coming out of turn number 4, it had Tyler Dalton, with at least coming to the white flag, it had Tyler Dalton completely pull away from Wilkinson. So props to both of those 2. That was absolutely amazing.
It absolutely was, Gary, and the 19 going to park it down at the start-finish line and maybe see if we can get a little bit of a John Force here. He's revving it up, and no, he's going to go for the donut here at Dover, and spinning that thing out, celebrating, is going to be Tyler Dalton here from the Dover International Speedway. Post-race show, got lots to talk about. Tyler Dalton, your top 3, we'll go through them. We'll talk to him here, as well as your full race results here from the Monster Mile. You were watching, and still watching, the American Pool Supply Truck Series here from Dover, round number 8. We'll be back in a moment on your home for sim racing, LSRTV. Don't go away.
I'm driving the number 20 JGR Toyota Xfinity car this weekend. Really great opportunity here at New Hampshire at my home track. Over the past 2 weeks, I've been on iRacing, practicing a little bit here and there with the modified and the NASCAR Xfinity car, so it's been a lot of fun. It's been a great tool for me to kind of get used to that stock car body again and be prepared for the race today. Well, yeah, it's a mile long, so the draft kind of plays into effect here with the modifieds, punches a big hole in the air, and we run restrictor plates. So it makes a big difference. Just really fast, and it's our Daytona. So that's what's great about it, and we have a fast car for tomorrow. I think the biggest thing is they're heavier cars. The tire's a lot different, and the way you go about setting them up is a lot different. They use all 4 tires more than a modified, where we typically drive off the right rear, you know, so. Well, actually, it's funny. I raced NASCAR race in 2003 before iRacing came about. And then when iRacing came about, my friend Kevin Iannarelli, who works at iRacing, kind of told me, hey man, you need to switch over to this. And when I did, I was like, oh my God, this is like real life. So I started using it as a tool of mine to really prepare for modified races, whether it was Stafford or Thompson or Loudon, Bristol. And then obviously the Xfinity Series last year, going to road courses, trying to get laps, and use it as a tool that can get me as prepared as I could be without actually doing it. So it's been great.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of LSRTV, and it may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of Live Sim Racing LLC and iRacing.com Motorsport Simulations. LSRTV would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.
Monumental finish here at Dover International Speedway as we begin the post-race show here on LSRTV, your home for sim racing. Cisco Scaramuza, Gary Weaver. And Gary, we begin to reflect on the race we just saw. 46 laps was how long this last melee was between Tyler Dalton and Brandon Wilkinson, and it looked like for a while that Dalton wasn't going to be opposed, but after Brandon Wilkinson was able to save his tires, come back through the field, and these two put on a heck of a show.
Yeah, it was absolutely exciting to watch again. That was the most exciting race to the finish I've seen in iRacing, at least so far this year. I'm pretty sure I've said that multiple times. I'll go for this month. I think that'll work, but nonetheless, that was an amazing job by Tyler Dalton to keep his lead, especially after being chased down by Wilkinson throughout those 46 laps.
And it almost looked like Ryan Howard was going to be a factor, but unfortunately for him, comes up short. I just think he pushed the truck just a little bit too hard to try and catch them. But with that, we'll run you through your post-race results here. Tyler Dalton gets the victory. Brandon Wilkinson second. We'll talk to those two here coming up shortly. Ryan Howard going to finish third. Fourth to Seth the Merchant. Fifth going to go to John Theodore. Sixth to William Kemp. Seventh to Reese Bam. Eighth going to go to Kenny Lowry. Derek Paulson going to finish ninth. And CJ Mason rounds out your top 10.
Finishing 11th and starting the string of cars that were a lap or more down goes to John Lyday, finishing 11th. Matthew Murphy, 12th. 13th, Kyle Manger. 14th, Jeremy Watkins. 15th, Tyler Lugo Vickery. 16th is Stephen Hollingsworth. James Kahula. And 17th, 18th is John McNaughton. 19th is going to be Paul Henley. And unfortunately, after getting involved in an accident early on with nothing you could do, Christian Peterson comes home in 20th.
That was, yeah, definitely an unfortunate series of events for Christian Peterson. Travis Powell, 21st, same deal for him. It was, you know, at that point, if it's equipment failure, there's nothing really you can do for Travis Powell, and unfortunately, ends up cleaning out Christian Peterson. Abe Wood going to finish 22nd, 23rd to Cedric Hunter. Todd Novosad, 24th, 25th to Randy Yoakum, who bad luck continues for the 8th. The good thing is, I believe he has some off nights here that Randy can... take a break from iRacing here for a little bit and get everything composed here, and hopefully we'll see him back in action on Wednesday. 26th to Dustin Dean, 27th to Kyle Lowry. Sean Cross going to finish 28th, and Matt Cucker rounds out your 29 truck field. Cucker did not make an attempt here this evening. But now I'm going to head down to Victory Lane and talk with the driver who was able to hold them all at bay there at the end. It's Tyler Dalton, and we've caught up with him now down in Victory Lane. And Tyler, it looked to be with about 20 laps to go that you were going to be able to hold on to this thing. Actually, it was about 30 to go, and you had about a second and a half on the rest of the field. Brandon Wilkinson tracks you down, and at that point, you know you had to defend, and this is one of the few tracks where you could do so. Walk us through kind of your whole mindset once the 56 got there.
Well, the whole mindset was pretty much just don't make a mistake. I had a pretty good lead. I had about a 2-second lead, and then I got racing around some lappers, and I'd been running the high line for most of the race. And it just so happened the lappers were letting us all go low, so that cost me about at least a half a second. And then I had just run it hard trying to build that gap, so the tires went away a little bit there. And I knew Brandon was going to be faster than me there. I just knew I couldn't let him get to my outside. As long as I could hold that outside, I think I would be okay. And luckily enough, I didn't make a mistake.
Well, with about 2 to go, it looked like Wilkinson might try and make something happen. You saw the lap truck, John Lyday, basically swerve out of the way. And after that, Wilkinson took a look to your inside. What was really the key for you to be able to hold that truck and be able to get around him?
Honestly, I wasn't that concerned at that situation because at that point, I had the preferred line on the outside. And on those old tires, there's no way it was going to stick on the bottom. My only concern at all was if there was going to be any contact with him trying to hold it down low, and he raced me clean the entire race. I can't thank him enough. He's a corporate teammate, so I greatly appreciate the clean race, and he could have easily bumped me out of the way.
Well, speaking of Mr. Kirkwood himself was in the comment section. He said he was watching, he was covering his eyes because he didn't want to see anything happen. But what a battle between you and Brandon Wilkinson. Tyler, you come out victorious here. Sponsors, shout-outs. Who gets it done for your team?
Oh, I got to thank California Midwest Express. They're my main sponsor on this car, and Sim Marketing Solutions. They're my two main sponsors on this car. They help pay the entry fees, buy the tracks and stuff. That helps a ton. Got to thank my teammates at Unacceptable Racing. Honestly, my teammate Ryan Howard, he was a good bit faster than me, but he got a pit road penalty. And if he would have had that penalty, he would have won this race. I feel sort of bad for him, but take what you can get sometimes.
That's Tyler Dalton, able to hold them all at bay and win here at Dover. Tyler, congratulations, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
And now going to pass the mic over to Gary Weaver, who's caught up with the driver who finished second, Brandon Wilkinson. We're not going to get an opportunity to talk to Ryan Howard because he actually had to run off for a call for work. But stepping down pit road and talking to the driver who finished second, the other driver in that pivotal battle, it's Brandon Wilkinson. Gary's caught up with him.
Well, Brandon Wilkinson, you start 7th and finished in 2nd, and those last 46 or so laps of you running down your teammate Tyler Dalton, that was absolutely amazing. And of course, coming with 2 laps to go out of turn number 2, you almost had it. You had the inside heading into turn number 3 when Lyday moved out of the way, but you just couldn't make it stick there entering turn number 3.
Yeah, it just got a little tight. Congratulations to Tyler. You know, I thought that the most that I could really do in that situation was ride behind him and hope he made a mistake, and it just didn't happen. So he ran perfect when he needed to tonight. I ran behind him in the green flag run before that, and just you know, I knew that if it were somehow to come down between him and I, it was going to be close. But yeah, I wish we got it done. But you know, second, you got to learn how to lose one before you can win one, I guess.
Yeah, that is true. It was absolutely amazing. So to get up from 7th to 2nd, not only that, but you had to play your pit road strategy a little to your own advantage as well with the 2 sets of tires. How'd you use that strategy to your advantage?
Well, I thought we did, but then we drove through too many stalls, so we went to the back and just kind of started to make our way to the front, and I knew we needed a long green flag run, at least a 50 to go for our strategy to work out. A lot of guys that took 2 faded in that initial green flag run there. But, you know, we got that run, and we got up to 5th, and and the 42 drove through some stalls, and I guess a lap car ended up wrecking CP and my teammate Cedric, who just want to give a huge shout out to Cedric. You know, he never really stepped into the truck until tonight, right when he ran qualifying, and he had a pretty bad fast truck. He did pretty well for himself, so just huge shout out to him. So we got 2 spots from that, and then Ryan got a pit road penalty, so we were second. Faded back a little bit on the restart, but got back to second, chased him down. Just, I don't know. You know, these guys work so hard back at Mad Dog Motorsports and care about their reputation too much for me to sail it in and dump somebody for lead, especially as Sim Marketing Solutions teammates. So just a good night overall. We'll take it and head on to the next race.
Of course, along with those people that you just mentioned, is there anyone else that you'd like to give a shout out before we let you go?
No, just Billy Tungate, everybody at Mad Dog Motorsports, Cedric, Sean, Derek, James, Devin, Sim Marketing Solutions, Todd Kirkwood. He's the frickin' man, and he makes it happen. And just a shout out to Tyler Dalton for putting on a good show with me tonight. That was frickin' awesome. If there's somebody I want to finish second to, I guess it's him. So Sim Marketing Solutions 1-2. Hopefully there's a big paycheck in the mail coming. We'll see.
Hopefully there would be. So congratulations on that finishing in second, Brendan Wilkinson, and we will see you next week. Hopefully next time in first place.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, so let's go. That was still an exciting race. I'm still excited throughout all of that. I want to commentate this all over again. It was that exciting.
Yeah, it was a fantastic race here, and great job by the drivers. They kept it nice and clean, only really about 4 or 5 cautions or so. So it was a really good race nonetheless. And with that, we're going to begin to wrap up coverage here this evening for us here at the American Pool Supply. Started out a little bit rough, but the race went really well. So definitely enjoyed it from up here in the booth. And if you want more iRacing action here on LSRTV, well, we're not going to be running on Monday because we have an off week here. And after that, we'll get into things next week with the FTC All-Star race. More to come on that next week. But on Wednesday, we have, of course, the CEA Weekly Dirt Series returning. On Thursday, we'll have the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series All-Star race. That'll be at 10 o'clock, and keep attuned to the social medias for that one. Facebook LSRTV, Twitter LSRTV Official as well for all of that. And, of course, here on YouTube, if you hit that subscribe button, you'll be able to get all the race notifications for when we go live. Of course, Friday, we're still not really sure what's going on, so keep it tuned. If something happens and changes, we'll let you know. I do know that we are working in the pipeline. We're going to be bringing you something the weekend of Memorial Day, so definitely keep it locked for more info on that. And then Saturday, of course, our doubleheader as per usual, the United Sim Racing B&C Lawn Landscaping Truck Series. Their championship can be this Saturday. And then, of course, the Outlaw Modified Series from the Bootleg Racing League on the other half of that doubleheader. And then we're right back here for the American Pool Supply. Actually, no, we'll be, I believe, with the Majors Series coming up next weekend for the World 600. So you can find a full broadcast schedule at www.livesimracing.com, as well as everything you need to know about us, how to get involved on LSRTV, and everything else behind the scenes. But for everybody here who makes it happen, for myself, Cisco Scaramouza, alongside Gary Weaver, and behind the scenes, of course, Evan Pisoko, DJ Lyon, and Laura Lawson, this has been the American Pool Supply Truck Series. We congratulate Tyler Dalton, who wins round number 8 at Dover. Keep it locked to LSRTV, and we'll see you around the turn. Good night.